So everybody, welcome to the Ubora TZ Climb Kili team leader meeting. We are super glad you are here. My name is Rena Olson. I'm part of Team Ubora, and we thought it would be great to hop on a quick call and just provide you with some tools and information about Climb Kili and Ubora to set you and your team up for success. So I'm going to toss it to Ubora's president, Dave Burgess, and he can take it from here.
Hey guys, I'm Dave. Thank you for the introduction, Rena. We also have on the call Jeremy Shaya. You'll be hearing from him later in the call. Ministry overview. We are a 20-year-old startup ministry. For the first 18 years of our existence, we were a ministry of Perimeter Church in the suburbs of Atlanta. The ministry started when some members from the church went to Africa and met a pastor who was ministering to a very small village in Tanzania. The village had been stricken with AIDS, and there was a large number of widows and orphans in that village of Karansi. This was 20 years ago. And since then, members of Perimeter have gone many, many times over the years, and the ministry has blossomed into today a school. We do work in healthcare, we do work in agriculture, business, and then general community projects that help lift the people. I wanted to share where we work. So if you can see my screen, you're looking at Africa. We do our work in Tanzania, which is on the east coast of Africa. And as we zoom in, we start to get into where we work. It's called the Siha district. And it's nestled right in between a whole bunch of really cool stuff. To the northwest is the famous Serengeti National Park. And then directly to the north of the school is the famous Mount Kilimanjaro, of which this race is named. Also to the south is another national park called Tarangire. This red area that you see is the Siha district. It's about the size of a county. With about 130,000 people in it today. We tend to focus here in a tiny little village called Karansi. This is where we met Pastor Warieli over 20 years ago, and he was ministering to those widows that I mentioned earlier. In 2004, we started a school there. It's a primary school that has currently 300 children. All of whom are sponsored by folks typically in the Atlanta area, but then also all over the world. A brief overview of the school. It goes from kindergarten through grade 7. And we have a deep relationship with many of the people who work there. We know the teachers well. This is one of my favorite pictures, shows some of our Tanzanian pictures and some of our volunteers who go over there all the time. They're family. And that's kind of the name of the game for the whole ministry, is that we have deep relationships, and that's how we tend to solve problems is through deep relationships with our brothers and sisters there in the country. Making this quick, that's an overview of the school. We have built a library in the village. It's one of the first libraries of its type in rural Tanzania. Here's a picture of Esther in front of the books. That was started 4 years ago. And this news just in, we have our second library was started a few miles up the road, and the books literally landed there this week. And so here's pictures of the building that was donated for the effort, some of the construction. And then today, pictures of a couple of our interns at the library. The books landed Monday of this week. And we're just thrilled that around 3,000 children will be able to reach their potential through reading. Another thing I'd like to share is is over here at the Siha Hospital. We do work in healthcare, as I mentioned. Some of our students at our school Well, I should say we give healthcare to all of the students at our school. All 300 kids get checkups regularly. But through that effort, we have met many, many, many more children throughout the district who don't get that healthcare. And we have run into issues at the hospital. This picture here, it shows a shelf with the sum total of all the medicine that was for the pediatric ward. So this is all the medicine that kids had available. This is a picture of the hospital 4 years ago when we first encountered it. There was really nothing in the hospital, literally nothing. There was no beds. Through gracious support from our donors and people who are involved in the ministry, we have medical people who have knowledge, we have people who have contacts. We're able to procure over $2.5 million worth of equipment and medicine here being delivered. And then today, we have happy doctors and nurses with equipment that can actually save lives. Here's a picture of a baby being born. And in the background is one of the heart monitors that were delivered on that truck. Thus far, those heart monitors have saved 5 lives. And that's been just in this past year. Not to mention all the prenatal medicine that is also shipped in that container. There's many other things going on in the district, but that just gives you a flavor of Ubora. As I said, we're gospel driven to go out and share the love of Christ in word and in deed. We're problem solvers, and we like to get things done, and we get it done in deeply collaborative ways with our brothers and sisters there. So this is a resource that you as a team leader can use. There is a brief blurb about Ubora that it was kind of summarized by what I just reviewed. We wanted to give you an idea of what your impact will make. When you're talking to your team members, we want them to know that their donations can have a huge impact. So for example, we give these examples of $50 provides 2 nutritious meals per day for a child for 6 months. $80 provides 3 young goats to a widow to allow her to earn a sustainable income. It sounds funny, but those resources will allow those widows to live a life independent of help. $120 provides a year of business coaching and soft skills training for new college graduate. There are other examples there that you can read. If you don't have this impact guide, let us know and we'll get it to you so that you can talk intelligently to your team members. Also below that is an overview of the 2022 plan. There's a lot on the plate. You can read through those and know what's going on, but the point being that Ubora is not just a one-dimensional ministry. We tried to provide holistic community impact through education, medical, spiritual development, business. We have an intern program, the libraries that I mentioned, widows and fathers, and public school outreach. So, as a team captain, there are 2 ways that you can help Ubora raise funding. And one of them is through your sign-up fees and by recruiting other team members to join. It's $50 to join the climb, and that's gonna really help us push toward our goal of all those things we want to accomplish for 2022. We are humbly and asking you to encourage your group to raise funding outside of their own race fee, much like your child might do for a fundraiser at school. We're going to have the ability for them to go out and solicit others to support them in the race. Others can support them in a lump sum fashion, or they can do it in a per mile way, and I'll show you that in just a second. So as a team captain, really, you just need to sign up first. When you do that, let me walk you through the website here. you can sign up individually first and then create a team if it's not already created, and then have your team member, you can point your team members to that team. Sorry, guys. Too many.
Dave, while you're doing that, I signed up for a team last year and found the site pretty self-explanatory, and kind of walks you through the program. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Dave Burgess. We can help you guys walk through the process, log in, create a team, and be successful.
One thing that I was checking on today, thank you for that, Jeremy, was that, I've got a couple of guys and gals on my team. They're real, they're way out in front of the rest of us. And so I was asking the question whether you can have some of your team doing the 40-mile and others doing the 100-mile. And it is capable, I guess, to do it that way. So
Yes.
Yeah. So Tim, my wife is doing the 160-mile and I am not. And as you guys will learn here very shortly, I mean, at the end of the day, right? Whether or not you challenge your friends and your family per mile, or you challenge them just to accomplish your goals, how you raise money or how you gain success here is really up to you. And so Climb Kili makes it very, very easy to have options to get excited about 40 miles or 160 miles, right? And I love it that it's in February because of all the binge eating that I did in November and December. Now I can look at February as my lose weight success story, right? But it makes it very easy for you guys to be successful. And I'm part of a couple different workout organizations, one of them being F3. And I know that several teammates of mine are doing a 50K race in February. They're doing a half marathon race in February, and we are also going to have at the end of the month to complete the challenge. We're going to have a half marathon Climb Kili challenge like we did last year, and we had a great turnout of about 15 to 20 people. I think Animal, you were there. Is that right?
That is correct, and we've actually been talking about adding some other options as well to get some more people involved.
That sounds great.
Super.
So Dave, please continue.
Yeah, now that I've figured out where the little button went. So I think when you go to sign up, if you haven't already, it's very, the sign up process is straightforward, as Jeremy said. Wanted to talk to you now about the fundraising aspect. So once you've signed up, you'll be prompted to either look for a team that's already been created to join or to create one yourself. That's all straightforward. And once you've done that, you can log in and you can go to your profile and you'll see the fundraising portion. Part of the sign-up process, as part of the sign-up process, you will create a link for yourself right here. So you can basically take this link and then forward that to prospective donors to help get them to fund your personal fundraising page. So here's my page, and I need to up my goal. But one of the things that you can do is either people can donate a lump sum, or you can do a pledge. And so that would be along the lines of, I'm going to give you 25 cents per mile, and it'll tell you based on what you've signed up for, how long you're going to go. The donor can even put a maximum donation so that it's capped for people like Animal here, who might run several hundred miles throughout the month. So just wanted to make you aware of that utility as well. they can also pick one of these, standard lump sum donations as well for you. So that's how you can go about doing fundraising. You basically create the link and then just send that out via email, however you want to your prospective donors.
Dave, I have a question.
Yes.
I know that, so I made my personal, fundraising link. So I have that link. And then when I created my team, I think it generated a link as well. So we can either send the team link out, or we can send our individual one out, and it all goes in the same thing to our team. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
That's right.
And the great thing about that, Leslie, is that your team can be competitive against other teams, or you can be competitive against the people on your team.
The team. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just competitive, period. So I just plan on beating everybody, regardless if they're on my team or not.
Great.
All right, that's the main functionality that I wanted to review tonight regarding the team page and the fundraising page. Wanted to also, before I turn it over to Jeremy, share with you some contacts. If you haven't received we will send it out to you via email. Can everyone see these Climb Kili contacts?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any issues, Lewis Stridham is our Climb Kili technical support guy. He's at lewisstridham@uboratz.org, and his phone number is there. If you can't get help there, but Louis is very good, he'll respond quickly. Rena is also, her contact info is there as well. And then if all else fails, give me a shout. Dave Burgess at uboratz.org, 404-922-7460. So there are your resources should you have any issues with the sign up process. Jeremy, pump us up.
I forgot my pom-pom, sorry. Well, hey everyone, thank you for joining us this evening, and we'll be off this in just a few minutes, but I appreciate your time. So my name is Jeremy Shia. I have known Dave Burgess and a few other people on this call for many years. My kids go to school with Dave's kids, and I also do a workout with Dave with the men under a program called F3. I know there's a lot of captains on the F3 side as well, so I'm excited to see that. About a year ago, I went to a dinner that my wife told me to go to, and Dave was there to share and talk about Ubora. And, like many of you, I have lots of opportunities to give to different organizations throughout my professional life. And, how do you decide on where and who and how? And really, sometimes it's just what, it's a feeling, or it's a something that hits you in the moment, right? But for me, it was a little bit different. I decided with my wife that we'd be more intentional about how we give and who we give to. And I have 4 children. And the problem with having 4 children in Johns Creek is that they live in Johns Creek, and they don't necessarily get to experience the real life that a lot of people in the world get to experience, which is not great. Unfortunately, I got to experience that as a young child, not having much and living with little. And so, being intentional about how I can really help my children to embrace what real life is like outside of this awesome bubble that we live in. To do that, we look at organizations who are really making a difference in children's lives across the globe. And it was just a miracle waiting to happen to be introduced to Dave and Ubora and this program. And so that night, we sponsored 2 young girls, Esther and Queen, and my 13-year-old daughter Chloe and 11-year-old daughter Madeline both have one of them as their girl. And my hope is that in the near future, I'll be able to send my daughters to Tanzania and get them to introduce them to these young girls who they've really made a difference for. And when I think of $50 feeds a child, 2 meals a day for 6 months. I spend that on my Starbucks bill, as disgusting as that may sound. And so for me, this is more of this is a challenge of heart, but this is something that I'm really passionate about and I really love. So when Dave, AKA his F3 name is Splinter, came to me and said, "Hey, would you help me kind of pump up the teams?" I was like, hell yeah, I'm on board. So yes, I mean, we're trying to raise money, right? That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to accomplish. How you do it doesn't really matter, but Climb Kili gives you a lot of fun ways to do it, right? Choose a distance and have people, pay per mile. Pick a team and challenge other teams. Get your family involved. My wife's involved. I'm involved. I am not going to challenge her because I will lose. But for some of my buddies, I will challenge them. And so for me, this is really an investment, not just this month, not the month of February, but into my own family. I would say that probably the benefit that the girls get who I've sponsored is probably less than the benefit that I'm getting for me and my family. So I would love to just encourage you to tell everyone, tell anyone, get teams involved, put your teams around them. If you're racing with teammates that are outside of your organizations, get them to jump on board, right? Challenge them. I'm looking for a challenge. Bring a challenge to me. I'll jump on board. But I'm excited about this year. I'm excited about what they're doing. Last year I was involved and I loved it. And even with a beat up knee, I still ran the 13 miles at the end and could cheer on my teammates. And this year I get to be involved with all of the coaches and captains. So thanks for the introduction, Dave. And thanks, Ubora team, for really stepping up and doing this for children. And I'm excited to be a part of it, to be involved, and also be coaching and exciting people to continue over the month of February.
Thank you once again for stepping up to be a team leader. You are really making an impact in people's lives by helping this ministry and this event. Have any issues, please do not hesitate to reach out, and let's get going. Let's start climbing the mountain.
Woohoo.
Do it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Awesome.
you, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you. Cheers.
Awesome.